Big show coming up on the PHLY Eagles podcast. Do the Eagles rest their starters or play for the number 2 seed on Sunday against the Commanders? Fran Duffy is in studio with the screen grabs to break down how the Eagles defense dominated the Bills. We know you've been talking about the show. Not so much now! Coming up next. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles show, live from the Xfinity studio and presented by Bet365 and Ashley. It's a Monday, it's raining, and the Eagles have to decide whether to play for the 2 seed or rest up for the playoffs. I'm Bo Wolf. You got EJ Smith over there doing his best Bo Wolf impersonation. And we got the great Fran Duffy here to break down the screen grabs and everything else about the game yesterday. How you guys doing?
Doing great, better than EJ. Having to get off an airplane and come right here, but yeah, doing all right.
How was the flight?
It was good. I was
just slept in a little bit,
like 3 minutes. Whatever. I'm moving past that. It was good. I was glad that it didn't get canceled, and I'm glad that I could make the show. You know, last time it was a road game. I'm so mad you took this from me. I was going to do this at the top of the show. I shouldn't have mentioned it. I was going to say, last time when there was a road game, there was some talk about EJ not being in the studio. I don't hear that talk anymore. Not so much anymore.
That's so good. So good. All right, we got a lot to get to. Fran is going to break down what was an unbelievable defensive performance against the Bills. He's also going to tell us, what the offense can do, what they didn't do, what is driving you most crazy about watching that second half performance. But let's get into the big takeaway presented by our friends at Xfinity as we sort of analyze how things set up here. So because the Bears lost last night, it's pretty simple for the Eagles. If they win on Sunday and the Bears lose to the Lions, they will be the 2 seed. If either of those two things does not happen, they will be the 3 seed. So I want to know what you guys think. Let's first what you would do about this, because the calculation is the benefit of the 2 seed versus the 3 seed.
Yep.
Obviously, you're guaranteed at least 2 home games. You get a more favorable first round matchup. Chance you get the NFC Championship game at home. Times, the likelihood of beating the Commanders with your starters and the Bears, who are 2.5-point favorites over the Lions, holding on, versus the benefit you would get from resting the guys, also keeping in mind there's a good chance your backups could still beat the Commanders, right? And so you'd still get that shot. How would you play it if you were in charge, Fran?
I think I would lean rest in this scenario, especially like after watching the offensive film. I think Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, I think those guys could benefit for some time with the defense, playing at the amount of snaps that they did in this game. I think there are a few guys on that side that could certainly use some rest. I do agree that in theory, on paper, their backups should be able to win. Now their starters struggled to win that game last week, but I think I lean more towards rest, especially. We saw Jalen Phillips go out briefly in this game. We saw Saquon Barkley go out briefly in this game. Like, God forbid, something happens to one of those guys that, and it's what 2023 happened with A.J. Brown, and now they missed that first game. You don't want that to happen. So I think I would lean rest.
EJ, how about you? And then tell me what you think your sense is.
I think I agree with Fran. I do think that the value of the 2 seed, I think we have shown that we understand the value of the 2 seed, right?
Yes.
Not only because of the matchup that it grants you against the Packers, but also just generally, what it means in the later rounds of the playoffs. But with that said, I think that the rest that you can afford the guys, I know you framed it this way before. It's like a holistic view of the playoffs versus that initial week where you feel like the rest.
What's
will
your best
benefit
chance
you.
to get to the Super Bowl?
Exactly. Yeah, and I do think that there is a really strong argument there. It's funny if you had asked me before this game, I would have told you that I really thought there was a strong possibility that they would rest a lot of the starters against the Commanders. I'm wavering a little bit on that, but I still feel like, I don't know. I really have wavered a lot in the last few hours on that one, I would say. I think that I think at the very least what I would say is it's going to be a real discussion in the building this week, but maybe they will decide that the 2 seed's too valuable to rest the starters for.
It is one where you would imagine that there's not going to be lockstep. I would imagine there are different camps in the building, and you would probably think that, I would guess that management would probably prefer they get the rest. I would think that Howie would want that. I feel very confident that Jalen wants to play. Right?
Yeah, he said as much. He said he absolutely would welcome the opportunity.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if you can even really truly split the difference, because I don't know you're getting the benefit that way, right? You're still exposing them to injury. How much scoreboard watching are you doing? When are you going to pull it? When are you going to feel comfortable pulling the plug? I don't know. It's difficult. Now, it's also, you can't just rest everybody. It's still a 3-man roster. You can only promote 2 guys from the practice squad. Let's take a look, actually, what a projected lineup might look like if the Eagles were to rest everybody, and tell me if you think this group could beat the Commanders. So you've got Tanner McGee, Tank Bigsby, Jahan Dotson, Grant Calcaterra. Now, the offensive line is tough. I think you probably go Fred Johnson left tackle, Brett Toth left guard, Drew Kendall at center, Steen has to play, and then Matt Pryor at right tackle. You got Kylan Granson flown in there. And then, I don't know, you're probably promoting Jake, what's his name, from the practice squad to be a game day backup.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of O-line depth.
Right.
Defense is easier. Uche, Byron Young, Ty Robinson. I'm waving AJ Dillon and promoting Patrick Johnson back to the 53-man roster here. Smile Mondin, Jeremiah Trotter, Jacorian Bennett, Brandon Johnson, Sidney Brown, Marcus Epps.
You had to get Brandon Johnson on there.
Yeah, I thought about Mac McWilliams, but listen, they've been promoting Brandon Johnson. He's going to get in there.
I mean, I think that was actually well earned for Brandon Johnson. I didn't think that this was chicanery from Bo. I think I wanted to point out that we talk a lot about you saw how getting the 2 seed worked for the Eagles last year. We've also seen what playing the starters for seeding implications in the final week. The risk of it in 2023 when A.J. Brown got a hamstring injury going into the playoffs. I think it was against the Giants leading into that Bucs game. Was it a hamstring or a knee?
I think it was a hammy.
Okay, yeah. So I think that you see the risk there.
But yeah, I mean, everybody who matters who is banged up at all should not be playing.
Yeah, but even guys who are reasonably healthy, you're still taking on risk for your impact players. So I think that's got to be a big part of the calculus.
But I don't think that's how they're wired. I think they are going to play guys.
I was thinking this morning about the 2017 season going into week 8, or I guess it was week 17 back then, where you had the offense didn't look great in the weeks before. So all right, we're going to play Nick Foles and the starters on offense and on defense, both sides, but only for the first few series. And I remember listening to Chris Long within the last couple of years.
He hated that game.
He hated that game. And I don't want to speak completely out of turn, but
freezing. He had to play every snap.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, why are we out here? What am I doing?" It was, but honestly, some of it's gonna be hard for that not to creep in for some of those guys.
Yeah, it's brutal. Okay, now here's my other question for you, playoff wise. As we look at the potential matchups, and Lindsay, if you don't mind flipping up that Daniz graphic about the possible matchups here, the Eagles can still play any of 4 different teams in the first round. If they get the 2 seed, they're going to play the Packers. But if they're the 3, they could be hosting Seattle, they could be hosting San Francisco, or they could be hosting the Rams. And as you think about it, less specifically about those teams, but knowing what those teams' strengths and weaknesses are, as you think about an ideal matchup for the Eagles, would you rather play a team with really good offense and gettable defense, or a team with really good defense and mediocre offense?
So I was thinking about it this morning because Cuz asked me when I was on with him, and I think I landed on the mediocre offense. That's what I would rather play. I think I'd rather get into a rock fight and what yesterday was, where it's 13-12, as opposed to counting on the offense to score 24 points against a supposedly bad defense.
I think I go the other way.
I could be swung.
Because I think this defense is good enough to shut down any good offense. And maybe not shut down,
Right.
but corral. Okay, I mean, they basically shut down the Bills, and the Bills have a top 5 offense yesterday. Tough game in terms of weather and all that stuff, but they went and beat them up. I think they could do that to the Rams to some degree. And the way that I feel about the offense is the offense has really good players who will make a couple plays a game. I think the offense can score 10 points on anybody. The worst defense in football and the best defense in football. I think they will put together 2 scoring drives. They might not do that, but I agree that I don't feel confident that if it becomes a shootout, it's against a bad defense that they're going to score 30 points.
I think you framed that well, but I think when you look at what the Eagles have done against bad defenses, it's not encouraging. The Bills' run defense was terrible. I think it was 31st in defensive success rate going into this game against the run, and the Eagles had 82 rushing yards in the game. So for me, I actually feel like we've seen, I know that it's been few and far between, and it's often come on short weeks, but we've seen the Eagles' defense at least struggle against high-level offenses in small samples this year, where you feel good about them in any matchup, but there's that inkling of a possibility that the 49ers run this, just run an outside zone the whole game and get rolling, and that it turns into a 24-20 game, a 24-17 game, and I feel worse about the Eagles offense keeping up in that scenario than I do the Eagles offense being able to figure something out against a bad defense.
What's the number? What's the lowest number where I guarantee you the Eagles score this number of points in the first round? You don't know what the defense gives up. How comfortable would you feel? That you feel like they're going to win. So if I tell you right now the Eagles are going to score 17 points in the wild card round without knowing the opponent, you think they win that game?
I might say yes.
If the offense scores 17,
I'm going yes.
I think it would take 18.
Yeah, all right. 17 doesn't feel
honestly,
quite right.
I think I would sign up for 18 points against anybody right now.
How many times have they hit 18 in the last month and a half?
I can tell you.
I mean, I think at least twice.
In the last 6 weeks,
Well, yeah, because they hadn't topped 21 until a week ago, right? Or 2 weeks ago against the Raiders.
If you discount those games, since the bye, they've scored 18 or more points 2 times. So 4 times total, but 2 times against.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
4 out of 6. Yeah, okay. But it's still,
Okay.
18. It's right on
All
par.
right, that'll do it for the big deal presented by Xfinity. Let's get into the grabbies here.
I love how you had the suspense. Is he going to say
Which way we're going?
Snappies,
nice?
whatever.
Nice.
When I was with the Eagles, we used to call it and shout out to Ben Fennell on this because he labeled it this way, and it always stuck. The doodles. We used the doodle.
I like that.
I like doodles.
I like that.
I actually let that loose with you guys on our group chat this morning. I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to doodle that, and I was like, oh, that's a callback to. I did it just naturally. The doodles.
Granny Doodle comes to town riding on an iPad.
Of course, you're going to find a way to ruin doodles.
Very quick Ben Fennell story. My former colleague, Paul Domowich, told me when he introduced me to Ben Fennell, this guy's going to be an NFL GM one day.
Love Ben.
You don't?
I mean, I love Ben too, but I don't know if that's going to be a correct call.
Right. I mean, it's got plenty of time. Both of you guys have plenty of time.
Let's not get crazy.
I mean, listen, I love Ben. Come on the show anytime, Ben.
Of course.
I'm probably betting against the likelihood of him becoming a general manager.
And myself as well. I would throw myself in that bucket.
I think that Fran would make an excellent general manager.
I know that Fran would make an excellent general manager, but there are barriers in place here.
Yeah.
I mean, Alec Hallaby isn't a general manager yet.
You
think Ben Fennell's going to leapfrog him?
I'm saying let's focus on Fran here for a minute. I think that Fran could do it. I think Fran's gonna, his star is gonna rise, and some NFL owners
we're borrowing.
We're
borrowing Fran. We know that.
Yeah, that Fran Duffy. Give me that guy. He's a good evaluator of talent.
This is making me very uncomfortable.
All right. Well, if you think that makes you uncomfortable, stay tuned because we're actually going to take a break now, and we'll come back and we will get into the grabbies. The deal. Elkins Chevrolet is run by 3 brothers. It's right there in the name. Kin. K-I-N. Elkin. Kins. And guess what? When you go to Elkins Chevrolet, they're going to treat you like family too. What do they have at Elkins Chevrolet? Well, they've got a big inventory of Chevy trucks and SUVs, and there's no better time to grab one at a price that won't last. Whether it's getting to the game, to work, or hitting the holiday road, you will roll into the new year in the perfect ride at the perfect price. Elkins Chevrolet, real brothers, real deals. And here it comes. A whole lot of honking good service. Elkins Chevrolet, Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey. This holiday season, they're making sure you get a deal that will feel just as good as a win. Maybe a playoff win. Shop now at elkinschevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. They pioneered live in-game betting and have 90 million users worldwide. Bet365 live streams 780,000 events each year and offers the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports each year, with early payout offers across the NBA and NHL. They've got plenty of offers for each day of the week, including the SGP Sundays offer. You place qualifying parlay bets totaling $20 or more on Sunday's NFL games and get up to $25 in bonus bets. T's and C's apply. Download the app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. And we've also got some breaking news from Bet365. New customers are now getting $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Once again, sign up and use the code PHLY365 for that offer. You must be 21 and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we're back on the PHLY Eagles podcast. And Fran, let's start with the big guys up front. Jalen Carter is back on the Eagles defense. Jordan Davis is still there. Moro Ojimo. How do they look against the Bills front?
Yeah, the defensive front was outstanding. And I think that it can be certainly an X factor for this team, for this defense going into the postseason, is what they're able to do against opposing quarterbacks and opposing run games by just winning their one-on-ones up front. It's funny, when you played when you looked at the graphic of, who could start? I forgot Josh Uche was on this team and he was playing significant snaps for them in the first half of the year. And it's just such a huge difference now when you're rolling in, not just the fact that you have Jalen Carter and Ojimo, but the guys on the edge. Jalen Phillips continuing to play really good ball for them. Nolan Smith back healthy. BG out there. Like the rotation is really, really strong, and that showed up in this game.
Can I ask you about Jalen Phillips?
Yeah.
Because we had a bit of a debate about this on the post-game show where he had a sack yesterday. Obviously forces that huge fumble. Only 2 sacks since he got here. Had one in the first game. But he's playing a lot of snaps, and I don't think there's any doubt that his addition alone has just strengthened the group overall, and they feel much more powerful with him there.
Yeah, I think that he plays extremely hard. He can win with length. He can win with explosiveness. He can win with technique. He can win with effort. Like he's just a good player. Do I think that he's on the tier of like the top A1 rushers in football? No, but I think that he certainly raises the ceiling and honestly like raises the floor of this defense.
Do you see him getting a lot of attention?
I wouldn't say like more than normal,
Okay.
but he's just a really good player. He gets a lot of one-on-ones, and to me, like he comes through with a lot of those where maybe it's not for sacks, but impacting the quarterback, winning at the point of attack in the run game consistently shows up.
All right, where do you want to start in terms of the breakdowns here?
Well, honestly, I was thinking about this, and it was like, all right, like how do we talk about this defense? What are some of the themes? Because honestly, when this defense is humming, it can be a little bit boring because it's an execution defense. Like it's like, hey, like there are coverages where I'll look at how they execute here, look at the pass off there, but to me, I was thinking about it. This is a defense that is predicated on impacting the quarterback right up the gut, like up the middle. And I think about this defense over the course of this season, and it showed up in this game in all of the ways that they've been able to consistently do it all season long. And we'll start with this first one here, Lindsay, where again, it's all about getting after the quarterback and trying to impact him up the gut. And obviously the number one way you're able to do that with this defense is when you've got a couple of guys inside, whether it's Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Moro Ojimo, Brandon Graham, like those guys have the ability to win one-on-ones. And right here, this is just a pure 4-man rush. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And sometimes, hey, if it's 5-man protection, it really does come down to who's going to get the one-on-one and can you win. On this play, they decide, Buffalo, that they're going to slide towards Jordan Davis. That leaves Jalen Carter one-on-one with Osiris Torrance. And he just goes, he's got the nickname for my friend Ike Reese, the baby rhino. Like he just goes full on right into his chest, rocks Osiris Torrance Lawrence back, goes with an arm over, and is able to get home, and he ends up sacking Josh Allen here. It's a great play, and it gets him off the field. Now, what I like here, and this is something just kind of a callback to last week when I previewed this matchup, the Bills, I said, like that, they love to get these running backs vertically down the field. And here on this play, they leaked James Cook out. Reed Blankenship was one-on-one there, was able to catch the vertical, and Josh Allen wasn't even looking in that direction. That was the first read, but he got off of it really quickly because Reed picked up the running back vertical out of the backfield. You can see Carter's already about to get home. Now, you go to a little bit later in the game. Buffalo in the same kind of deal. It's going to be another 5-man protection. The center's like, no, we're not making that same mistake twice. We're going to slide towards Jalen Carter here on this play. Well, now that leaves Moro Ojimo one-on-one with the left guard, and you can see that explosiveness getting upfield. And one of the worst positions you can be in as an offensive lineman is parallel to the line of scrimmage. Because if you are working parallel to the line of scrimmage, parallel to the sideline, perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, if you are parallel to the sideline and you have a defensive tackle that is still working upfield, you have no base, you have no anchor. And so now he's getting worked up the field, and Ojimo is just going to walk him back, and he ends up sacking Josh Allen here. So again, you're seeing those defensive tackles, they have that ability to consistently win one-on-one. Now, one of the other things that you're able to see from this defense, and again, it's something where you're attacking the interior, is the use of stunts. And we've seen this time and time again where, again, you're going to get defensive tackles, they're going to slant inside, and you're going to get the edge rushers, Nolan Smith, Jalyx Hunt, Jalen Phillips. These guys are long, they're explosive, they're athletic, they're rangy. When you've got that ability, and look, we broke this down in the game on the post-game show last night, but you get Ojimo working upfield, and now you've got Jalyx Hunt looping inside. Look at all of the space. If the center is going to slide opposite of this stunt, the tackle's got no shot here. He is not going to block Jalyx Hunt on this play. And look at all the space that he's got to be able to get home to Josh Allen, and he gets home for a sack. And by the way, another example where this was a running back running out of the backfield against Jihaad Campbell. He wins over the top. If Josh Allen has time here on this play, this is going over the top. This is going to be a vertical attempt to the running back against Jihaad Campbell, but the rush gets home and it turns into a sack. Another example, again, where you've just got all of these guys show that ability to be able to get home from a lot of different ways and impact, again, right up the middle. What's another way that they've done that this season? Using the linebackers, Nakobe Dean, Jihaad Campbell. Here it's Zack Baun. And what I love here on this play, we talked about this package last night. This is the first time that they've done this the last couple of years, where you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensive linemen on the field. The Eagles are in nickel, and you have one linebacker. It's a 5-1-5 personnel grouping. But this is a blitz that's designed to get Zack Baun upfield to the quarterback. You've got both defensive tackles. They're working outside. They're crossing face. And again, that's all designed to create a wide runway for Zack Baun to insert as a rusher. Now, he does not get home for the sack. Josh Allen does the superhuman thing that he's able to do, where he's able to shake off Zack Baun. But you can see he's not settled. He steps up. He's rushed. He's throwing from a very poor base here, and he ends up throwing honestly a terrible ball. The ball comes out. It's not catchable. It does not look good whatsoever coming out of his hand, and the receiver is unable to make this catch. Adoree Jackson's able to come back. That starts, again, with pressure right up the gut. You see Nakobe Dean. You see Zack Baun. You see Jihaad Campbell. This was a play a little bit later where you've got the center. He's pointing out both Campbell and Baun, like, hey, alert for these guys blitzing here on this play. Zack Baun, just before the snap, creeps up towards the line of scrimmage. These guys change the protection, and now they slide the protection that way. Josh Allen is looking like, all right, I'm going to try and get this ball out hot, but Baun doesn't come. Instead, it's actually going to be Jihaad Campbell going through the B gap, right up the middle, right into Josh Allen's face. Well, now he's going to try and dump this off, but it's not a 5-man rush. You're still having the exchange pressure. So Jalen Phillips, with that versatility, he drops back. Zack Baun is right there as well. So when Josh Allen thinks, oh, I'm going to throw hot to the running back, that throw's gone. He ends up making a throwaway. So I can go on and on and on here, but at the end of the day, this defense is predicated on getting pressure right up the middle. Quarterbacks hate having nowhere to step up when you've got pressure. They hate when you have that. It's the fastest path to the quarterback. And this defense, they find multiple ways to be able to do it week after week after week.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like the peak thing you hear from, football tacticos, and again, I consider you kind of a level above that. Quarterbacks hate pressure up the gut.
Brady. How did you get
There's nowhere to escape. And then the other thing you hear is, to beat an elite quarterback, you have to be able to win with a 4-man rush. So to me, this is one of the more encouraging things you could see going into the postseason. When you look at some of the matchups that the Eagles might have, being able to impact the quarterback with a 4-man rush. Did you read the next gen stat on the show yesterday about the 4-man rush?
No, I did the offensive
Okay,
one.
I wanted to make sure I wasn't positive. So I pulled this. The Eagles, all 5 of their sacks came with a 4-man rush against the Bills, and they have 18 sacks in the last 4 games while rushing 4, 7 more than any other defense over that time.
Wow.
According to Next Gen
7
Stats.
more in a 4. You said it was a 4-game?
4-game sample.
Wow.
Yeah. And to me, that is like just like stamp it, playoff ready. Like that is that's huge against elite quarterbacks.
It's a Super Bowl caliber defense.
Yeah.
Like there's no debating that. This is a Super Bowl caliber defense that they've got. It would be terrible if they were to waste that effort just because they're not able to match that on the other side.
There you go. That the drive that included the Jalen Carter sack.
Right.
Not since the Super Bowl have I seen a. It reminded me of that 3-play defensive sequence in the
Against
Super
the
Bowl,
Rams.
where it went Josh Sweat sack, Jalyx Hunt sack, Cooper DeJean pick 6.
Right.
Where it was just 3 plays in a row of absolute
Carnage.
physical
Right.
domination, and it started with the Baun decleats James Cook.
Yeah.
And Cooper DeJean makes that awesome play on the fumble, which, like, if that just had been a fumble, we've been watching that play forever. I still love that play. Throws the O-lineman out of the way and then recovers the fumble. Second down is Jalen Carter just destroying Osiris Torrance. And then third down is a little dump off, and Reed Blankenship just decleats the guy.
And he crashes out after he's smacking his helmet. He's going crazy.
That was, like you just see them all beating people up.
Yeah.
That is so fun.
It's a great unit, and they're healthy. It's a fun group to watch.
Here is the True Media. I just looked it up. Since the Eagles' bye,
Okay.
24 sacks on a 4-man rush, most in the league, one more than the Texans. So there you go.
It's a good group.
All right. You want to keep going?
I got.
Or do you want to take a break?
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll do Jihaad Campbell on that 4th down stop on the other side.
You heard it. Shop best sellers at Ashley, where no matter what your holiday traditions are, you are always at home. Whether you're making an extra room with extendable dining tables so your family can make something delicious together, or creating a cozy space by rearranging their modular seating like the Alyssa Court Performance Fabric Sectional, Ashley's selection of adaptable furniture is here to help carry on your treasured traditions year after year and for years to come. Shop holiday deals and make lifelong memories with Ashley.
Whether your favorite team wins or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParx online casino app. Check out brand new casino games like Huff and More Puff and Fireblaze Sky Queen, a BetParx exclusive. The only app you ever need to play all your favorite casino games in the palm of your hand. Play blackjack, roulette, craps, poker, baccarat, and hot online slots like Cash Eruption, 88 Fortunes, and Cleopatra online slots. Play hot online slots based on your favorite streaming shows, Walking Dead, Squid Game, Breaking Bad, and Peaky Blinders, and all your favorite classic casino games from wherever you are. New users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Go to betparx.com and download the app right now and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You must be 21, NMPA, New Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. You love to play, you play to win, you bet, BetParx. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Shop best sellers at Ashley, where no matter what your holiday traditions are, you're always at home. So whatever you got planned for New Year's, Ashley is going to hook you up. You can create a cozy space by rearranging their modular seating, or you could make some extra room with an extendable dining table. Ashley's got you covered. Ashley's selection of adaptable furniture is here to help carry on your treasured traditions year after year and for years to come. Shop holiday deals and make lifelong memories with Ashley. Back on the PHLY Eagles podcast, we move now one level back on the defense to the linebackers. Jihaad Campbell, we talked about it on the postgame show yesterday, looked live like he really accepted the challenge of playing in this game against a very good Bills offense. How did it look on tape?
Yeah, it wasn't perfect, but it was good. I thought it was a good performance. I thought we saw a lot of positives and continue. I mean, it's been par for the course, honestly. Like I've seen good flashes from Jihaad Campbell anytime he's been out there in a full-time role, and this game was no different. I think the big thing with him coming out of Alabama was this is a guy that, again, not a lot of time on task playing as a pure off-ball stacked linebacker. Who, when he first got there, he was an edge rusher and was playing. That's kind of how he was used early on. And so, the only 2 years really playing the position. So, all right, what is he going to look like early on in the NFL? So, how is he going to key and diagnose things? What is he going to, in terms of like reading, run, pass, and being where he needs to be, defeating blocks, at an NFL level? To me, like you saw, it hasn't all been perfect, but I think you've seen some really good things, and there was some good ones on film.
Get to the doodles.
Let's get to the doodles. Look at that. All right,
Frankie Doodle.
Let's get to the doodles. All right. So, Jihaad Campbell, right smack in the middle of this Eagles defense here. And again, one of the things you wanted to see from him early on was his ability to recognize, attend to, and defeat blocks. And one of the things, there are a lot of different ways that you're able to defeat blocks, but a big thing is understanding, like, what is the offense trying to do on this play? The faster you're able to key that and diagnose that, now you know where the block is coming from, and then it's what we talked about this with Jordan Davis. Was that last week where it was so much of it is block attention. Hey, they're going to block down from this way outside of my peripheral, so now I need to make sure that I'm able to defeat that block, and then I can find the football. It's the same kind of idea here on this play. It's a draw from the Bills, where again Josh Allen initially takes a little bit of a beat, then hands the ball off. You can see it's high hats early on, and that initially might give the linebacker that it's going to be a pass play. So now I'm going to try and drop back. But Jihaad Campbell did a nice job just staying disciplined here on this play. They're trying to get the center up to Campbell quickly. This run is going to hit outside Jordan Davis. So you have Zack Baun there, but you have an offensive lineman coming his way. You've got a hat on a hat here. If Jihaad Campbell can defeat this block, he can get to the football. He does a good job of just kind of dipping and slipping this block. Now, sometimes you have to take the guy on. If you're gonna try and dip the block, you need to make sure you go make the play. It's not all linebackers coaches will teach you to do this, but if you're athletic enough to do it, and as long as you're able to still make the play, maintain your balance, stay upright, go for it. And that's exactly what he did here on this play. He's able to meet the running back in the hole and gets a stop there close to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, EJ, this is a Bobby King. His big thing is block destruction, right?
Oh, sorry. You said that like you were explaining it to me, and I was wondering what the bit was here. Yes.
Trying to involve you in the show. Trying to give you a chance to pipe in here.
Didn't it sound like when he explains things to Dainez?
Well, Dainez needs it. We know that.
Yes, Bobby King. I think he calls his linebacker room Block Destruction University.
Yeah.
So yes, it is. I mean, Nick Sirianni harps on it.
You think
too,
he knows what he's doing with BDU?
No, I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Oh, I disagree. I absolutely disagree.
Do they have it on T-shirts or anything anywhere?
That's a good question.
Sounds like a wolf's den.
I think he's doing. I think that's intentional. But that goes to your point, though, because he does it. That's not what he does there. He uses his athleticism. So I'm curious if that's how Bobby King wants him to do it, or if he's sort of freelancing there. And just using his natural skills.
Well, that's the thing, is that in this game, you saw him go about it a couple different ways. The very next shot, this was, I think, the next drive, might have been the drive after that. You're going to see Campbell, again, stacked right in the middle of the defense here. Different kind of run play, but different blocks, different plays, in different occasions. It calls for different tools in the toolbox. Here, he strikes this guy right up the middle. Now, the hand placement might be a little high. Might have gotten called for hands to the face there, in some instances. But look, you stay square. You're violent with the strike. He's strong on contact. He doesn't give up any ground, and he does a good. Now the other guys are doing a great job here too. Jordan Davis is in there. Jalen Phillips is coming in from the other side as well. So he doesn't even get credited with the tackle. But I thought that Jihaad Campbell did a really good job of staying stout, staying square, and playing the football. And then there's just one other thing that kind of stood out to me as well. This is the second play of the game. And this is a completion to Dawson Knox. Knox is going to come on a shallow cross, coming across off of play action. Now, on this play, Jihaad Campbell is a blitzer. So he's not really trying to key and diagnose here on this play. He's not reading this out. He's a blitzer. And the reason why you know it's blitzing is because you see Jalen Phillips actually drop out in coverage as well. They typically aren't doing that unless they're blitzing the linebacker from the opposite side. So you're going to get Josh Allen, who's under center. You're going to get a run fake going that way. You've got the puller going the opposite side. I do think that they are doing this to try and mess with the rookie linebacker. They're saying, hey, we're going to throw the pulling guard going the opposite way and send the tight end going into that void. It just so happened that Jihaad Campbell blitzed on this one. It ends up being a completion. Marcus Epps loses inside here, and you've got the tight end Knox. He goes for a 15-yard completion. But Campbell, he was blitzing on this play. A little bit later, and this is what I love to see from Jihaad Campbell, similar kind of set. This is I believe this is the third quarter, late third quarter. You got under center, multiple tight ends on the field. Here's Jihaad Campbell. And on this one, Again, you've got pulling guards, you've got a run fake here, you're trying to bring the tight end across from the opposite side because it worked for him the last time. Campbell does an outstanding job of just staying disciplined. He keys this really, really well. He doesn't get too aggressive or nosy against the run. He's able to maintain his spot, his landmark in the defense, in the zone coverage scheme, takes that throw away, and now Josh Allen has to settle for the check down. And again, because of this defense, just the nature of it, it's a defensive coach that I worked with a long time ago. It's like water to a drain, and you get these guys all flowing to the football. You have a lot of white jerseys. Get population of the ball, all the different things you hear. But that's one of the best things about this defense. It's one of the hallmarks of the unit last year on their way to hoisting a Lombardi Trophy. And to me, you need those guys on the back end to do their job, force the check down, and then everybody else can come up and rally. But I thought that was a really good example there on that play of Jihaad Campbell. Hey, they did something earlier on, and it wasn't even at me necessarily because I was blitzing on the play, but his recognition there stood out.
So you remember the last time you brought up a defensive coach?
It's actually the same exact coach.
So
last
am
time.
I allowed to put their name out there?
Sure, yeah.
Mark D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio.
My dad texted it to me after the show.
Nice.
I texted him and said, who was Al Golden's DC? Quick. And he answered me like hours later.
Yeah.
Which
all right.
tracks, yeah.
Well, it was right. Yeah, Mark D'Onofrio.
The play where Jihaad is covering James Cook and it's an incomplete pass in his direction. They never showed a replay, which happened a few times.
Yeah,
much to our frustration. Did he break that up or was it a bad throw?
It was
was it dropped? I couldn't tell.
It was like he impacted the catch point. I don't know if it would necessarily go down as a PBU, but he impacted the catch point. Yes, exactly. It was tight coverage. It's one of those I don't know if the statistician might call that a PBU or not. But it was good coverage.
It's pressure.
I have a question for you guys. How many turkeys would you put on Jihaad Campbell eventually moving to edge rusher after seeing him for pretty much an entire regular season?
0.
How many would you have put going into training camp?
12.
8.
I never really bought into that idea. Yeah.
Fair enough. I was just curious because he has played so well, and he kind of looks more like an off-ball linebacker throughout this entire season.
For sure. Yeah.
I viewed it as on third down, you can put him down on the line of scrimmage and do stuff with him, but he would always be as an off-ball backer. Yeah,
just as someone who was sitting there hearing Howie Roseman compare him to Micah Parsons, I probably fell for the bait a little bit more than you guys, but watching him this season, I would agree it doesn't feel like that's in the cards for him.
Going to break down the fourth down play?
Yeah, let's do that really quickly. I think this was one of the pivotal plays of the game. I didn't get a chance to break it down in post-game yesterday, but just a good example of overall just good team defense down in a high-leverage spot, 4th and goal on the goal line. And what you're seeing here on this play is that obviously you've got Josh Allen in the backfield by himself. It's an empty set. What they're trying to do with motion in the backfield is they're trying to get attention going this way, a little eye candy, to try and initially get a wide receiver, a little bit of a rub route to the pylon. Now, what I like here from the Eagles is that you have an exchange pressure going where you have Cooper DeJean blitzing off the short side of the field, off the boundary. Jalyx Hunt, who was lined up off the edge, he's dropping. He ends up dropping basically right into one of the passing lanes, one of the passing lanes here for Josh Allen. But Allen, you could see all day, he's looking this way. He wants his receiver to the pylon. Now, these defenders, Jihaad Campbell and Adoree Jackson, they understand, hey, I've got a defensive lineman, I've got an edge rusher dropping here. I can afford to be a little bit more aggressive getting over top of this and take this route away. And so they do a good job of taking that away. Josh Allen, that's going to be a no-go, that first read. So he's got to get his eyes back towards the middle of the field. Now, the initial rub from that receiver that was lined up on the boundary, that's taken away by Jalyx Hunt. So Hunt takes that throw away. You've got Josh Palmer working the back of the end zone. You've got Marcus Epps back there. Quinyon Mitchell's in trail coverage. So Josh Allen, he knows all right, I'm probably not going to be able to hit this over the top. There's too many bodies over here, too much congestion. Now, the other read for him, you've got a little bit of an escort screen here at the bottom where you've got one man out blocking out in front with I think you've got the receiver coming out of the backfield here. So Allen could decide it's on 4th down, do I want to throw this to the 10-yard line, or am I just going to try and bide time here? Now, you've got the free run from Cooper DeJean unblocked here off the boundary. So he's going to do a good job of just kind of stepping up and escaping, trying to get away from this initial rusher as well. It's a 4-man rush. You've got 7 guys in coverage. The big thing is as he starts to break the pocket, This is just really good instincts from Jalyx Hunt here on this play, and Zack Baun obviously does an outstanding job as well. But Josh Allen, he starts to break the pocket and roll to his right. He's looking back across the grain at this tight end, working towards the middle of the field. So that's good. That's my best shot here at making a throw into the end zone, because that throw is taken away. Palmer's not going to try and reverse field it, quick enough for me here. So this is his best chance. So Jalyx Hunt kind of locks in, and you could see that Allen's thinking about making this throw. He ends up throwing a pump fake here, but Hunt does a great job of just staying latched on to, and probably is part of the safety background, but just having that feel of where that route is in relation to where he is on the field, takes that throw away. And now you get to Zack Baun. You can see that Hunt's in the air. He takes that throw away. Baun is not no man's land, but it's in that right in that go between where, all right, do I trigger and get downhill against Josh Allen and risk this receiver running open, or do I fall back and now Josh Allen is going to scramble in for a touchdown? He just times it perfectly. Like, it was literally like, all right, I'm here, and now I got to go. And he closes the distance really quickly, and obviously doesn't just enough to be able to get Allen on the ground. But I also love too, like, look at all these jerseys, all in pursuit. You had Jordan Davis there. You had Jalen Phillips coming from that backside. Hunt does a really good job. DeJean is trying to work his way back in there. So just the entire group overall, just really good overall team defense. It was a good call from Vic Fangio. You had the nickel pressure. I don't know if DeJean had blitzed at any other time the last 2 or 3 weeks. We really don't see DeJean used all that often as a blitzer. Just a great call and a great spot.
On the 2-point conversion.
Yep.
You think Allen should have made that throw?
He absolutely, he was unsettled.
There's pressure in his face. It's the accumulation of all the pressure that's been in his face all game long. But
yeah,
but he's open.
I honestly, I had pulled a couple plays where I'm like, to go with the stuff we hit on the top, where it's like, all right, you could see all the pressure up front was starting to get to him a little bit. There were a few where he was a little bit unsettled, and he took a peek at the rush, and it's like, oh man, they were getting to him, and that was a good example of it. And you could see as he's walking off, and there was the camera got a great shot of him just yelling yelling the F word right into it, and Meg's laughing. I was like, wow, who's he upset at? I'm like, he's upset at himself. He should have made that throw. He had time to set his feet and make that, and he just that's the beautiful thing of pressure is that builds and compounds over the course of the game, and it can impact the quarterback in that way.
There you go. What do you got?
What did you think of the take out there that if Jalen Hurts played like that, people would have the pitchforks out?
I do agree with that, but
I don't know.
I don't think it's coming from the same place that's coming from.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought this last night, watching that game between the Bears and 49ers, we went 2 hours of real time without Jalen Hurts completing a pass. It's not he made some good throws. We'll get into it. He made some good throws in the game, and this is not all on him, but this would not be one where if I were the offense, I'd be pounding my chest, oh yeah,
I don't know what I'm talking now.
Not so much anymore.
All right, let's take a brick.
Quick.
We're gonna take what they call in New Zealand a brick, and then we'll come back on the other side and talk about the offense, which, by the way, was quite down under. Fact or fiction? You tell me. Why Factor outperforms other meal kits? That's a fact. Because unlike meal kits that require prep and cooking, Factor delivers fully prepared, ready-to-eat meals in just 2 minutes. Factor fiction. Factor doesn't have a lot of variety with their choices. That's fiction. More variety, more meals. Choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. Eat smart at factormeals.com/PHLY50 off and use code PHLY50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code PHLY50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. This exclusive holiday offer won't last. Lock in your savings before the New Year rush. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase.
Next, let's talk about Monarch Money. Feel organized and confident in your finances with Monarch Money, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or phone. Whether you're switching jobs like me with past retirement accounts to monitor or just trying to simplify checking your portfolio, Monarch has been perfect to keep an eye on all my finances in one place. It can be so time-consuming checking a handful of different apps, and Monarch is the perfect solution for that. They are built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Don't leave money on the table. When you're making good money, it is easy to get complacent. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks this winter. Use code PHLY at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off, 50, your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code PHLY.
All right, back on the PHLY Eagles show. Bo Wolf, EJ Smith, Fran Duffy. Let's talk about the offense, Fran. And in terms of games in which you only get one first down in the entire second half, it was pretty good, right?
It happened on the first drive of the second half, too.
I know.
That
Second
Saquon Barkley
play.
run. Yeah, second play. Sure.
Given that, it was pretty good.
Yeah, other than that, you take the 4 drives away at the end. Yeah, sure. You know what I found interesting, though, like just thinking about it, is that it is great to have this game after some of the conversations that we had on the show last week about the offense, and even just like the debate that Daniz and I had on the Tuesday show, where it was like the two versions of the volatility of the offense. Because in the first half, we saw the volatility of like under center, play action, vertical shots, like, you know, that aspect of it. And in the second half, when that was not a factor at all, like we didn't really see that at all in the second half, and what that looked like. And I'm not saying it would always look that way, but I do think it's kind of interesting that we got to see what the two versions of the offense look like, and how it can be, both of them can be painful at times to be able to watch.
Yeah, so the first half, they do go under center.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Yep.
Over the course of the game, it ended up being their 5th most of the season, but it was much higher in the first half. And it goes with when they're moving the ball, they'll go under center.
Right.
But when they continue to get behind the sticks, then they just sort of revert. So
Yeah.
tell us what you saw in the search for explosives, I guess.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, and this is where, you know, where Daniz and I saw it differently last week when we were talking about it, was like, to me, if you're going to be a volatile offense, I think this is the better path to take to that volatility. Like, I feel better about the sustainability of this volatility, if that makes sense. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that when I say like one is more volatile than the other, I'm not saying that there are higher highs and lower lows. I just think that it is more sporadic. Like, I think that this is a better version of this offense to count on. And this is a good example. Like, honestly, like you saw a handful of them in the first half, but first play of the game, they come out under center, 11 personnel, condensed formation. It's a very much a run look here. So condensed formation, meaning everybody in between the numbers here. By the way, they ran out of these 11 personnel like condensed looks a handful of times in this game. I'm sure Daniz did not love that. I did not love that in particular, especially when they did it on the goal line with the Bills in their base defense. Like, did not love that. But getting back to this, this is a basic like 3-level stretch off play action vertical shot play where you're going to get Jahan Dotson working the deep, like kind of a post corner route. You're going to get A.J. Brown running the over, and then you're going to get Devontae Smith working underneath. So you got 3 levels off of the hard run action to Saquon Barkley, and you're just working 1 to 2 to 3 if you're Jalen Hurts. So again, you've got Dotson working this way. You've got A.J. Brown, and then there's Devontae Smith. Now, you can see the corner, Tre'Davious White. He's been around here a few times. Initially, he's like, oh, I'm going to sit on this intermediate route. I'm not going to carry the vertical. But the safety here deep downfield, he triggers on A.J. Brown. He's going to take this away. So now you're going to see Tre'Davious White. He gets back underneath this route for Jahan Dotson. And Jalen, he initially sees this safety coming down. He's like, all right, green light. I'm throwing this to Dotson. Guys, this is one of his best throws of the day. He puts this, like, just a great ball. Yeah, like tough drop. Like, I don't know if he would, but you want him to go and make that play.
Yeah.
Like, you want Jahan Dotson to come down with that play. Now, we can get into the discussion. Should that be Devontae? Does that need to be Jahan Dotson? We can get into that stuff. But great ball from Jalen. First play of the game, under center play action, vertical shot. They come back I think it was the next drive. Same idea. under center, condensed formation, similar kind of look here. And again, you're going to go hard run action. You've got receiver, you've got A.J. Brown this time working towards the post. You've got Devontae Smith coming this way. Now instead of Jihaad Dotson, you've got Darius Cooper, who's lined up as a wing. He's going to run the little slide route to the outside. So if you're the defense, it looks like it's the same exact concept. You're going to have A.J. working this way. You've got, here comes Devontae. 3 levels, 1, 2, 3, down the field, and Jalen can read it. Well, look at the safety. He's like, oh, I saw this before. A.J. Brown, he's going to do the same thing Jihaad Dotson did on the last drive. Let me overplay this. Except that's not what he does. A.J. Brown actually puts his foot into the ground and goes back the opposite way. So they do a good job of playing off of a concept they ran the previous drive, fooling the safety. A.J.'s wide open, and Jalen is able to deliver this. So you still have all these other routes working the same way, but he's able to hit A.J. Brown for an explosive play and a first down. Now, he hit, it was the, after that play, that's the last one there, Lindsay. There was the play, Jalen scrambled and he got hit out of bounds. It was the 3rd and long where there was the penalty against Milano. Very next play, they ran a play action. A.J. Brown, perfect ball from Jalen. Perfect ball. And it was like, you probably could have been DPI. Sometimes we've seen A.J. make that play, like one hand over the shoulder. Like he had one to Devontae Smith, well scripted, like 13 personnel, under center. And he was a worm killer. Like he short-armed it. And
it was a tough one.
Yeah. But like Devontae's open. All right, so if you had like 6 or 7 of those shots in the first half, you only hit 1 or 2. Some games you might hit 4.
Yeah.
And those are chunk plays that, like, if you hit those, like, you're setting yourself up for success. I think this is a better offense to say, like, let's let our superstars, like, go and make a play for us, as opposed to try and matriculate the ball down the field and, like, get into scramble drill and, like, lean on the run game, because obviously you can't lean on the run game right now. That's why I feel more strongly that this is the better path for this offense.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, I get it.
It's tough. And here's my question for you. What do you make of the season-long arc where they have some success in the first half and then it all goes away in the second half? Some numbers for you. On the course of the season. First half, 10th in points, 26th in the second half. 9th in EPA per play in the first half, 25th in the second half. 18th in success rate, which speaks to they're still volatile. It's still a big play-based offense, down to 27th in the second half. And I do have to think that this is coaching because, I mean, it's the same thing we talk about with Vic. What makes Vic so great is that he's able to assess what the plan is the first couple of series, then adjust to that, and they're nails for the rest of the game, right? Why does it keep happening that they have their plan in the week, and then come the second half, they have nothing?
The only game I could think of where it was the inverse was the Rams game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? That was
and
the only one?
throw in that
Yes.
game.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to ask, like, do you think that the fact that the Eagles are winning a lot of these games is influencing this, where, you know, it is coaching, but it's coaching in not acknowledging what's happening on the field, in the sense that I think they've been all year, they've wanted that 4-minute drive that, you know, that we're going to kill the game, strangle the game, we're going to run it down their throats, and we're going to have an 18-play drive and take 10 minutes off the clock. And obviously that's not who they are this year.
It's happened once, right? It was the Giants game.
Yeah.
Is that the only one I'm thinking of? Yeah,
Correct.
Right, that was
yes.
it.
Yeah, that Giants game where they felt, Saquon says, it
one
felt
at
like
home.
last year. Yeah,
Yep.
right.
That was it. They're not that team. They're not that guy. They are not that team this year. So,
But do you think that explains the numbers?
They just hang the defense out to dry yesterday.
yeah.
I mean, 1 first down on 5 possessions. Those guys on defense have to play so many snaps. It's a big part of the reason that the Bills even score at the end of the game, because they don't have their best players on the field. They're all exhausted. Like, they just need a little bit of help.
So here's the thing, too. The comment from Sirianni after the game.
Yeah, I would say we got to get to this.
Like,
Let's get to this.
my ears perked up with it, because as I'm going to be honest, I did not see it until you sent the quote over. So that I had gone through the offensive film already. I didn't watch Sirianni last night. But I was going through the film this morning, and I'm like, all right, like, they got back to what they were doing the 2 weeks prior to last week's win over Washington, where I was feeling a certain type of way about what the approach was in that game, because it was so different than the previous two. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Why are we getting away from this? Like, this was, is this the plan? is that, and then I said, well, let's go to the quote, I guess.
Yeah, so Nick Sirianni talking about the second half struggles and kind of what changed for them. He said, Kevin Patullo did a good job in that first half, but I've got to help in that second half a little bit to get some things that we want to get called there. He went on to say we've got to mix in some of the play action things that we've done so well in the last couple of weeks and not wait there. Again, that's on me. I know what the first play is going into every series. We've got to do some different things there. Obviously, the Eagles were really run heavy on first and second down in that second half. And yeah, I think that this really aligns with something that, the last couple of weeks, I think we've talked a lot about under center. We've talked a lot about empty. But I think really the thing that the Eagles internally felt the best about is the play action game and some of the things that they've been able to build off in that aspect.
The under center play action game, right?
Yeah, I think specifically the under center play action game, but I think just generally trying to access some of those explosive plays through play action.
I would agree with that sentiment. Or whoever feels that way internally, I am in full support of that because honestly, that's where it's the most sustainable form of success, I think, for this offense.
Yeah.
But when I see that, now here's the other element of it. When you have 4 drives in a row, 5 drives in a row, they're 3 and out.
4.
Yeah, so you have 4 in a row to end the game. You're not getting any kind of rhythm. And we say this all the time when the Eagles play against the 49ers, you play against the Rams. It's hey, if you stop the run on early downs, you take the play action element out of it, you get them into third and long. That's the idea. In Kevin Patullo's defense, it would say all right, well, if the other stuff's not working, you don't get into any kind of a groove, and that's when the under center stuff. You made the point earlier, we don't really see them get into the under center until they start to they get a drive rolling.
Yeah.
They didn't get any drives rolling.
And as Dennis has broken down, I mean, it is nuts. Their percentage of going 3 and out, it's historically high. It's not just the biggest in the league. It's the biggest in the long. It's crazy. With all the players they have.
Well, I think nuts. But I think that's the thing, though, is we say with all the players that they have, they're not playing well up front. And I think that they are going to keep...
It's a very important point.
They're going to keep hitting their head against the wall saying, we think that this offensive line can generate movement and create space for Saquon Barkley. It's not going to happen this year, I don't think.
That's why I lean towards resting. I watch Juergens and Dickerson. Dickerson didn't look great either. I know a lot of people are coming at Juergens after yesterday. Dickerson didn't look great either. All right, you get Lane back. That'll be a big help. Lane's going to be fresh. But man,
I don't even give him the week off. Send him to Cancun.
Yeah,
they need a vacation and then come back for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's
they need to come back rested.
That's why I was thinking of the
do a
2017
Giants boat thing. I don't care.
Don't do the Giants boat thing.
Yeah. But that's why I was thinking of 2017 because I wonder if the people that were in the building that were in the building back then, that was a team that was trying to we need the offense to work some things out. Do they feel like things got worked out from that one game because they came out against Atlanta and they didn't look great anyway at the beginning of that game.
They also had a bye week.
Yeah,
they had a playoff bye week after
you're
that.
Right. Yeah,
and
you're right.
I mean that can backfire. I mean, if it doesn't look good, then you feel even worse about it. Yeah. I think that we've seen enough evidence this year of honestly, people in the Eagles organization talking about it, but also just being obvious that when they're in close games against good teams, their instinct is to avoid mistakes, avoid turnovers. And I think you saw that in the second half. And I do think, I saw the suggestion in the chat that maybe this was just Nick taking accountability, blanket accountability for everything.
Yeah.
That's not my read on this. I think
you've been in enough Nick Sirianni press conferences to know the difference.
Not like him, he would say, he would have the blanket statement everything out there, my name is on it, I take accountability. Yeah. For him to very specifically say he needs to help Kevin get to calls that they want to get called, I think that is a specific thing. That is a tangible thing that Nick Sirianni thinks that he could have done, and I do think that shows where their priorities lie on offense right now.
You know what one of my real bugaboos with the offense is?
Just one?
No, we've talked about this. Remember that Saquon touchdown on the wheel route?
Green Bay?
I think it was the Broncos.
Oh, Broncos game. Yeah.
Wheel route?
Yeah.
Beautiful. You get Saquon in space, down the field against the linebacker. Great job identifying that mismatch. Jalen just checked to that. That wasn't even a play call.
Right, yeah.
How many times do you think Saquon Barkley has been targeted this season 10 yards or more downfield?
Do you want me to pretend that we didn't?
Yeah, say it in the chat if you have a guess.
3 times! If you can't run the ball, can we try to make some other use of him, please?
But so like that's the thing, man, is like when I think of like this, and we can get into the third down stuff, but there's nothing in the early state, first down, second down, like, all right, we got to find ways to sustain offense. They don't have a screen game. So that's where like the empty stuff does come into play. Hey, you want to go empty early downs, spread the ball out, just get a couple, like get a first down, so yeah, like finding explosive.
Saquon was actually talking about this, and it was interesting that his theory.
I've talked to Fran about this before.
His theory is that the screen game is tough when you have a mobile quarterback because they're rushing a little bit more scared.
Okay.
They don't want to let the running quarterback free, and so they're not going balls to the wall, and they're not as liable to get totally caught against the screen. Which I think,
there's something there.
I could sort of buy that,
right?
But that's fine. Send them deep.
And there's something else we could do. Yeah, but that's the thing is like we can't. All right, if the screen game's out, then we got to do something.
Yeah.
There's got to be other things. We talked about that, so often with this offense. I'm
waiting for Lindsay to flash the thing up. I'm not jumping the gun.
I wasn't thinking about overtime. I'm enjoying the conversation.
Oh, okay.
This third down pass game is going to like give me an ulcer.
Well, tune in to find out if Fran is able to make it through the show alive in Lindsay time. All right. Now, if you think that Saquon Barkley stat was interesting, I'm about to blow your mind. Where do you think the Eagles' offense ranks in success rate on the course of the season in 3rd and long? And we were defining that as 3rd and 8 or more, given everything we've seen from this offense. Where do you think they rank?
Because the third down offense in general is like, what are they, 28th? Something like that right now? I can look that up quickly. There's no way we could possibly look that up.
I can look that up right now. Rankings.
I'm trying to see Fran's process to looking up numbers. It's already different than mine.
24th.
24th. Okay.
3rd and 8
Number
plus.
checks out.
Where do the Eagles rank in the league in success rate? Talk amongst yourselves. Put it in the chat. And I'll tell you the answer. You're going to be blown away.
I want the big reveal.
7th on a 28% success rate. But that does not tell the whole story because the entire league is not good on 3rd and 8 plus. The Eagles are marginally better on this play. What is the difference here is that they are in 3rd and 8 plus the 3rd most often in the league. You're talking about the Browns and the Cardinals are the only teams in the league who have been in 3rd and 8 plus more often than the Eagles.
And the Giants
That's
and Titans
the problem.
The Giants and Titans are right behind them.
Yeah.
So that's the company. They're literally like the top 4 picks in the draft next year. That's who the company right now.
And so it is not that there are a lot of frustrations of the 3rd and 8 concepts, but it's not that they are not succeeding at a high enough rate. It's that they are putting themselves in a situation that everybody struggles with. But some of those concepts have driven you nuts a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's the part of the pass game that especially in this, like the last few weeks says, like, remember the reporting about like Nick Sirianni becoming more involved with the offense in general and with the pass game, where I've noticed the changes and noticed the shifts have been with the early down stuff. Like that's where we've seen more under center play action and, the more like aggressive downfield concepts, not ISO routes, like concepts like 3-level stretches and high-low read, like stuff where the routes work in concert together and manipulating a defender so that one receiver breaks open, like concepts as opposed to what we see 3rd down. Just yesterday, I'm going to go through this. Just drive me nuts, and this doesn't even count the coward's draw stuff.
Yeah,
doesn't even count those plays. First drive.
The 2nd and 13 handoff.
The 2nd and 13 handoff.
Good.
First drive, 3rd and 10, corner out to A.J. Brown for 8 yards, punt. Then you don't have another 3rd and long for 3. So it's not until the 4th drive. 3rd and 10, they had a corner out that was taken away by cover 2. So you get scramble drill, pinpoint throw to A.J. Brown. Like beautiful throw, like really not. Now, really quickly, Lindsay, can we go to that? Can we go to that film on that one? Because on this play, they come out. It's a 3-by-1 set, and again, the ball's going to go to AJ here on this one. bottom of the screen, he wants Dallas Goedert on the outbreaking route, but it's against cover 2. And again, like with the corner sinking here, that takes that throw away. So Jalen initially wants Dallas Goedert here on this play. I'll give them credit. Usually when it's 3rd and long, it is usually ISO ball, like, oh, it's a fade here, and it's the hitches and all the curls. Here they actually ran a concept, but they ran it right into where the zone coverage defenders were, and so that ball's taken away. Now, what I don't like here from this one, from Jalen, is as he's stepping up, what do we always talk about? Like, you're stepping up in position to be able to throw the football. He's got edge pressure. We talked about how the Eagles defense loves to be able to impact the quarterback. When you're going against a quarterback like Jalen, it's a little bit different where some defensive coordinators, you might feel comfortable right now giving him this path because now he's not stepping up in position to throw. He is square to the line of scrimmage, and now he's looking to try and eject. A.J. Brown is working a backside dig. Like, this ball should have been like climb and deliver to A.J. on the run for a big play. Like that would be that's like how you would draw that up for Jalen on this play. Instead, he initially looks like he wants to eject this way. Then he breaks back running to his right. And he ends up making, it's a beautiful throw. It's a beautiful throw over the corner, Benford, underneath the safety. And he puts this right on the money. It was one of his better throws of the day. Did it need to be as difficult as it was? No, it did not. But they make that play. Now, again, is that sustainable? We've talked about how, like, when Jalen holds on to the football, the success rate has not been great over the last couple of years. Like, that's not been usually the offense is better when he is getting the ball out a little bit faster. So, like, I would say, their lone conversion on 3rd and long yesterday, like, it's great that they can make those plays, but not a sustainable form of offense. So, same drive, 3rd and 12. ISO ball, you got a defensive holding on Matt Milano, so that one is taken away by penalty. 3rd and 9. They run a slant to Dallas Goedert on a high-low read, short of the sticks. Only one viable route beyond the sticks, and then they kick a field goal. Very next drive, 2-minute drill, 3rd and 8. They throw a screen to Dallas Goedert in the red zone, nearly stripped at the end.
Like, that was such a strange,
nearly stripped at the end.
Of course it was. It was their final possession of the half.
I texted you guys what happened. Like,
all season long.
Can we just not have a game where they have the ball at the end of the first half? Like, that would be beautiful. Like, that was just very good for mental health. 6th drive, so first drive of the second half, 3rd and 12. They run 4 verts right into, literally every guy is running immediately into a zone coverage defender. Jalen's got nowhere to throw with the ball, throws away. 7th drive, next drive, 3rd and 10. They're running like this is the last play I've got. This play drove me nuts. So on this one, this is the last one, Lindsay. You've got 2x2 set here. AJ's running like a shallow cross. I think this is supposed to be what is called like a drive route, which the Eagles they've run this a decent amount where you typically have a receiver over the ball and you have the shallow cross and it's kind of like a semblance of a high-low read. But here on this play, Jahan Dotson works like this and runs kind of like a hitch, and Goedert is working behind it and looks like he's going to run like a corner route behind it. The spacing here is terrible. Dotson gets held up by the jammer. Then you've got Dallas trying to work behind it as AJ's coming. So you're going to literally have all 3 guys within 5 yards of each other. As Jalen hits the top of his drop, he's uncomfortable because, again, the routes don't match with his drop. So he starts to drift. The Bills are playing a coverage we talked about last week. Cover 2 man. So you've got 2 high safeties, man-to-man coverage with a spy. It's only a 3-man rush. So you got the spy and Thompson. And when Jalen starts to drift needlessly, because again, like he's feeling antsy because like the routes aren't developing and he doesn't feel confident in it. Well, now the linebacker says, all right, well, I'm not letting you get outside the pocket. So this is a pressure that is invited by Jalen. This is not an offensive line pressure. This is a quarterback pressure. But I don't blame Jalen because he had nowhere to go with the ball. So this is like a good example of like, man, like it's 3rd and long. Even if like best case scenario, is he supposed to throw to Dotson, like short of the sticks? Is he supposed to throw to AJ, like at a 2 yards depth? Like, how is this the call on 3rd and 10? I don't know. But they end up punting on that one. So that's the 7th drive. 8th drive, 3rd and 6. They again ran that same high-low to Dallas Goedert. This time, that was the drive where they started backed up on their own goal line after the 4th down stop. The ball could have come out fast. It doesn't. So they end up punting. 9th drive, very next drive, 3rd and 6 again. All curls, scramble, throwaway, terrible play. 10th drive, very last one. They throw a fade to Devontae. And Jamie said it on the postgame show last night. He's like, yeah, like it feels like all these 50-50 balls to AJ and Devontae, they don't come down with. It's like, yeah, like that's regression. That's the point of the 50-50 ball. He was like, yeah, like we could say like, oh, it's 80-20. It's not. There's a reason why we call it 50-50. At some point, like regression comes, and right now, like if that's what you're saying is like the sustainable part of the offense, I don't like it. That doesn't feel good when it's coming up snake eyes time and time again. I prefer, hey, like let's dial up design shot plays where you had AJ Brown wide open on the post corner route. You had Jihaad Dotson on the corner route where like Jalen put it beautifully. Like it's this third down pass game is brutal. It's a tough watch.
So it's like you're playing like layups and threes, but it's like Ben Simmons is your 3-point shooter, and who's going to be taking the layups in this scenario?
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons is good around the rim.
Yeah, well, not in
Ben Simmons with his right hand.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I also just don't get into 3rd and 8.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think they're trying.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah,
that is their
trying.
goal, and yeah.
With the run game not being as good, and look, they didn't do any of the quarterback run stuff yesterday, and so that's what like they bounce back and forth. Where it's like, all right, we're going to go under
I'm
center.
okay
and do
with
that. Yeah, but like, so I guess if we're taking like bits and pieces from the last
the
few
bull
weeks,
case.
right?
Yes. Yesterday, bad conditions.
Yeah.
A game that doesn't
matter.
matter
Right.
as much.
Yep.
Right before the playoffs.
You could sell me on this.
Not
yes.
the time to necessarily lean heavily into the Jalen.
You could sell me
running
on
game.
that. Yep.
You get to the playoffs. We're gonna involve Jalen in the running game more. Lane Johnson's gonna be back.
Yep.
And that alone is gonna take us to a mediocre offense. And that with our defense is gonna be enough.
C's get degrees, as a wise man once said.
Shout out to Adoree Jackson.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not crazy.
It's not.
I mean, you're
not
writing
it's not
off
crazy, yeah.
them playing up to their talent.
Right.
That's fine. Can they just get to
24.
mid?
Can they score 24 points?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, if they score 24 points, they will win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Every week. Right? Like,
Yeah.
that's how they would feel.
You're not selling me on it. I mean, I see where
I'm
you're
not so
coming
sure I
from,
buy it, but
yeah, no, I think if the Eagles offense could have figured this out, we would have seen it at some point in the last several months.
Probably.
I think the formula is 16-9.
The highest paid offense in football. That's a tough swallow, man. That's tough.
Not everything, AJ, has to be in your dirty mind.
Get out of here.
Swallow is a bird.
That's what I was going for.
It's a bird pun.
Bird pun.
Yeah, he's going for a bird pun.
Of course, obviously.
Okay. Any other little mini nuggets that you enjoyed from the film?
Little mini nuggets.
How fun is Jalyx Hunt? I mean, you talked about it on the post-game show. But he's really fun.
Zack Baun, that coverage on that downfield throw to Cook was awesome. Just an unbelievable play.
Wait, you can throw the ball to a running back downfield?
Apparently. We talked about the Reed Blankenship play where he came down and he laid that guy out. He did a great job. So, like, he sat in the window. They were trying to hit a dig, and he was right there to take the dig away, and then collapsed on the shallow cross. Was outstanding. We talked about the Jihaad Campbell fumble recovery yesterday on the show. Oh, here's one that's interesting, and this this is something just to kind of keep in mind. You know, we've talked about how, like, in recent weeks they love playing Quinyon Mitchell to the field. This is honestly, like, for Daniz and like a handful of other people out there who care about this, the minutiae. So they love playing Quinyon to the field. What we saw yesterday on the explosive the 50-yard pass to Brandon Cooks, second drive of the game. They do what's called formation to the boundary, where you had 3 receivers to the short side of the field. You had 1 receiver to Quinyon's side, and that receiver stayed short. So Quinyon is staying. You're basically removing the top corner and keeping him close to the line of scrimmage. And then they ran a vertical concept. It was a cross-country dagger concept to the other side. And Josh Allen was like, all right, I'm going to take advantage of this and let one loose over the top. That's one to definitely keep like in mind as this could be a tool that another team could try and replicate. If you know that Quinyon Mitchell's always to the field, you can dial up plays to try and take advantage of that.
That's interesting. That makes sense. Some super chats. Maddie Greenwood. Well, let's start with Matthew Persh, who says, I can't stand Nick's antics. Him in the tunnel acting all tough was a joke. Act like you've been there before.
In Nick's half-hearted defense here, it is just who he is. Like, it's his genuine personality.
Absolutely.
And he should be himself. And there, as our friend ZB, the guy who was on with David Baker, every time I bring him up, I love Zach, but when I bring him up, I'm always like bracing for you to just like derail the whole thing.
I enjoyed that conversation.
And I just derailed it myself this time.
I laugh about fee fi fo fum like once a week. Easy.
I'm gonna eat you. As our friend Zach Berman pointed out on social media this morning, like there have been instances during Nick's career with the Eagles that the players have wanted more of that from him, to be more himself. So I think if that's who you are,
there
that's who
have
you gotta
also
be.
been instances like the one yesterday where you can see on AJ Brown's face that he is doing the biggest internal eye roll anyone has ever done.
It was like it's like an internal cringe. Like
The Zach Ertz thing from last year, like maybe a little bit less than that situation. Yeah.
It was a half-hearted defense.
Yeah, to me, like celebrating a big play on the sideline.
Yeah, like was it
that stuff is it's totally fine
against the
I think.
Lions where he's like running up and down the sideline. I think that is like what he brings. Like that's juice.
That is the
it's
joy.
good.
That is I think that's a little bit different than the. I don't know. It's
You're
fine.
not gonna.
Yeah, I don't think that's
It is. It's fine.
It was funny, objectively
It's
funny.
very funny.
of the things to complain about with the team, like that's far down the list in my
I
mind.
agree with that. But you can also understand how some people would be rubbed the wrong way by that.
Yeah.
Joe Rockhead, the final play of the game. Cooper DeJean blitzed the quarterback. He got flattened. It looked pretty banged up. Any word on Coop?
I haven't heard anything yet.
There was a play earlier in the fourth quarter where he looked ginger. Couldn't tell if it was a groin or just a straight penis shot. But he looked uncomfortable.
I have no update on that.
Look forward to this week's exciting mics. Getting to the bottom of that one.
Nick Sirianni talk shortly here. And
Oh, you think he's going to address
no, I don't. I don't think he's going to address that subject.
the trunk in the room?
Looking forward to the last penis gate of 2025.
Dinkelberg. Doodles with Duffy. Brought to you by insert ad here.
Onto something.
There you go. J. King Street. Run, pass in the second half was super limiting. No?
When you can't run it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they actually only did that on maybe 2 of the 5 drives, which is still not
pass?
great. Yeah.
I thought it was more than that.
Hold on, I got you.
Of the 4 3-and-outs,
Right.
I think one of them was at least opened with a pass.
All right, so
an
the
incomplete pass.
7th drive, you had pass.
Okay.
8th drive, you had run, pass.
Okay.
9th drive, you had run, pass.
Okay.
10th drive, you had run, pass.
So I was wrong. 3
Now,
out of 4.
one of those was like the tush push, like you're on the 1
the
yard
tush
line.
push,
The
yeah.
tush push run, was
I think
run.
the way I
run.
worded it in my story is designed run.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's not great.
The offensive line, it wasn't. It didn't look good.
D&B mix. From that quote, we learned that it takes 5 3-and-outs for Nick to inject himself in play call adjustments.
Now I'm like Nick's defense attorney here. I think it's been reported, and I think it's been evident that Nick has taken a bigger role in the offensive game plan. I don't know if it's obviously a little vague, but I think that was him acknowledging how his role may have shifted in the last since the bye week. Well, not since the bye week, in the last couple weeks.
All right.
Gotcha. Matthew Greenwood. Was it me, or did Hurts look like he's on his way to a great game for the first 28 minutes of the ball game? Can we shut off the time clock for our offense? I agree with that. I thought Jalen Hurts was playing really well in the first half. Made some really nice throws in tough conditions. I thought so too. It's emblematic of the whole offense. I don't know why they just lose it sometimes.
Well, Hurts talked about rhythm, rhythmic ball, I think is how he put it. And how they didn't have that in the second half. And I think it's been evident with him that he's a rhythm player. But no, I agree. He had some big-time throws in the first half, like tight window throws or extending some of the ones that you broke down. So I don't know. I just think they were overly conservative in the second half. I think that they didn't put enough on his plate in the second half. I know it's crazy to say that when he didn't complete a pass, but I think it also was a sample size thing.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Go back through my notes. I usually color code stuff. I'm like, all right, this is something to talk about. I think I hit everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I hit everything.
How many more flights this season? For me, I guess.
You count the Super Bowl if
No,
the Eagles are not in the game?
no, don't count that. That would be like a really selfish like way to look at it. I mean, how many more times am I going to get on a plane to cover an Eagles game this season?
I think if I had to bet, I would say 0.
Really? Okay.
Probably lean the same way. I think
that's the most likely thing because they could still get the 2 seed, in which case they get 2 games. And then there's a chance that they get 3 games at home. So it's possible to be 0 and still
Okay, I
make
get
it
where
to the
you.
NFC Championship game, but
I get
also
where
they could
you're-
lose them
how
in
you
the first
got that.
round. Yeah, I think that would be the most turkeys, but I don't know
If they're the 3 seed, let's say, how many flights? You going 1 at that point?
because then you still Chicago could lose, and then you still get a home game.
Some of those throws that Caleb made yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
Sick.
Got a good arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for the PHLY Eagles show. We will talk to you tomorrow, 2 o'clock. A loopy Tuesday. Brandon Graham involved. EJ. We're off Wednesday and Thursday. So then we'll see if we're four-hander on Friday. Lots of big stuff.
Friday four-hander.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. We will talk to you tomorrow. And as always, we love you.